So you want to know what it costs to live in the Twin Cities? Well, this video is going to be all about living in Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota, so stay tuned. Welcome to Minneapolis Living. I'm Nick Sundahl and I run Acta Homes of Keller Williams Classic Realty Northwest. Please take a look in the description. You'll learn all about Minneapolis Living and Acta Homes. And while you're at it, please hit the subscribe button and ring that bell so you're alerted every time I upload a new video on Tuesdays and Fridays. So you're thinking of moving to Minneapolis or St. Paul, maybe the greater metropolitan area, perhaps the whole state of Minnesota. This is going to be a little bit more focused to the Twin Cities area and when it comes to cost of living. The number one factor when it comes to cost of living is your shelter. Whether you intend to purchase a home or you intend to rent, it is the biggest factor in terms of your cost of living. So here in the Twin Cities, our median sale price is roughly $300,000 to purchase a home. That is quite a bit more expensive than the national average, which sits at around $230,000. Now, if you're looking to rent, our rental market is also quite strong. For a one bedroom, you're looking anywhere from $1,000 up to $1,500. If you're going to 2 or 3 bedroom, you can go all the way up to $2,400, $2,500, $3,000 for a 2 or 3 or 4 bedroom apartment, which if you're looking at that compared to purchasing, it's actually more affordable to purchase in the Twin Cities than it is to rent. The next thing you have to take into consideration when you're talking about cost of living is transportation. The beautiful thing about the Twin Cities is we have a new light rail system. It's really been only in place for the last decade or so, and it is only expanding, which is great for those who want to commute from the outer suburbs. That being said, it's not really a full service type situation yet. It doesn't go to all communities. So we are a bit of a commuting city, which means you're purchasing a car and you have to maintain that vehicle, and of course you have to fill it with fuel. And as of right now, that fuel cost is anywhere between $2.40 a gallon and $2.50 a gallon, which sits right around the national average. So what do groceries look like when you live in Minneapolis and St. Paul? Well, because we have a shorter growing season for our farmers, and the majority of that is corn and soybeans, we have a lot of things that are shipped in from outside of the state, which means our grocery prices are just a little bit higher than you would find on the national average. Of course, we don't have fresh seafood here, so that obviously gets shipped in from the coast, which makes it quite a bit more expensive than if you were to find it whether you're on the east or west coast. Next on the list of things that affect your cost of living is healthcare. Healthcare here is a little bit more expensive than you're going to find in the national average. However, access to healthcare is exceptional. We have MinSure, which is a very convenient marketplace to go compare different products and depending on what your needs are for healthcare. And we have one of the leading healthcare systems throughout the United States. So while it is a little bit more expensive, you do get some real value that comes with that. Now, you would think utilities would be exceptionally expensive here, being that we have such cold winters. However, that's really the majority of where our energy consumption comes from. And overall, utilities are about 10% less by comparison to the national average. So there is a little bit of a bright spot when you're talking about your overall cost of living here in Minneapolis and St. Paul. So you've taken care of all of your utilities, your transportation, of course your shelter, and what does it cost for kind of a night out on the town? Well, we've got a slew of new restaurants, independent places that are making great food, incredible craft beverages. We've got a lot of craft breweries here in Minneapolis and in St. Paul. And when you go out, you can probably expect to spend anywhere between $50 to $150. I know that's a big gap, but it all depends on what you like to drink, how much you like to drink, and obviously what level of food service you're looking for. We have a bunch of national chains that are available for your dining pleasure, but I do really love the way that this food scene is moving. And of course, with that, you see a little bit higher prices because you're just getting that much better quality. So we've talked about the major factors when it comes to cost of living here in the Twin Cities, and you're wondering, why would I possibly move there when it costs so much to live there? And there is one big thick silver lining, and that's the median household income. A few factors that go into that. One, we have an exceptionally low unemployment rate. It's well below the national average. We're right around 3%, where the national average is just over 4%. We boast more Fortune 500 companies per capita than anywhere else in the US as well. What that equals to is a median household income of upwards of $75,000 a year, which if you compare that to the rest of the United States, sitting around $60,000. So when you calculate the fact that you're getting almost 20% more income, the cost of living is offset quite nicely. So that's a brief overview of cost of living in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down below. I would love to hear from you. I'd be happy to respond in a timely fashion. As always, if you're looking to move to Minneapolis or the greater metropolitan area, I'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to call, text, or email. Of course, you can always reach me on any of my social media platforms as well. In the description, you're going to find a PDF that will have a bit more detail to today's video, as well as links to find out more data. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.